So in the previous session, we have discussed about formula fields and we have discussed what exactly a formula field, how to create formula fields in Salesforce, and how to create our own custom formula by using various functions in order to generate the value for the field we have discussed. And we have discussed few practical use cases also by using these formula fields. Now, in today's session, we are going to discuss about a new feature, data management. So we have to understand what exactly data management and what is the use, how to manage the data in Salesforce, what are the various ways that we have in Salesforce to manage the data, and in that one, what is the efficient one which we can use in the real time in order to perform both import operations, export operations, and the records we'll see practically today. Now, let's see what exactly data management, what are the various ways are available to manage the data, we'll see. Okay, now. So today we'll be having the session till 6:30 because I'm not feeling well today. Okay, we'll be closing a bit early here. Now, let's see. Now tell me, what do you mean by data? Generally? Data means what? Information. Information related to our customers, our sales, our employees, our leads, like that. So now where these records will be available, this information inside the object in the form of what? Records. Now, as part of Salesforce, data means records. So, as part of Salesforce, we are having Salesforce CRM application. In Salesforce CRM application, we are able to manage sales related data, service related data, marketing related data, and along with that, we can create our own custom applications also by using Post.com platform. Now, in this case, to manage the data related to our business, we are having so many objects in Salesforce. As part of Salesforce CRM, Salesforce has given a collection of objects, which are called as standard objects, like campaign, lead, account, contact, opportunity, case and the solution, order, contract, like that. So many objects are available. Along with that, we can create our own custom objects also to store our application related data. To store our business related data, we can create our own custom object as well. Now, so as part of my Salesforce org, we have both the standard objects and we have custom objects also. Now, the combination of both the standard and custom objects will be called as what? Yes objects. Yes objects means Salesforce objects. So where all these objects will get resides? All these objects will get resides inside a database that is called as database.com. Database.com is a customized database of Salesforce where all the Salesforce objects and the records will get resides. Not only placing these objects, in these objects, whatever the records we have stored, not only placing these objects, in these objects, whatever the records we have stored, all those records are also will store inside the database, database.com. Generally, when you go to some other programming languages like a Java, .NET, SAP, those people are using a third-party database like Oracle, SQL Server like that. But Salesforce is not using any third-party database. Salesforce is using their own customized database that is called as database.com. Database.com is a customized database of Salesforce where all your Salesforce objects will get resides along with the records also. So whatever the records we have placed inside our objects, those records will be called as data. So data means records. Whatever the lead records, case records, account records, campaign records, hiring manager records, position records, which we have stored, that whole records will be called as data. Now, so now tell me what do you mean by management? Management means what? Performing the operation. Performing the operation. So on what? On data. That means on records. So now management in the sense performing some operations. So now tell me generally on records what kind of operations we can do? On records what kind of operations we can perform? We can create some new records. We can modify the
Create,
existing.
view, delete, update.
We can delete some existing records. We can view the records. We can do all these operations. So these operations will be called as DML operation, data manipulation language operation. So, as part of this data management, management in the sense of performing the operations on the data, that means on the records, like we can insert some new records, we can update the existing records, we can delete the records, we can reach to view the records, we can do all these operations. These operations will be called as DML operations. DML operations. So, whenever if you want to perform the operations on your records, we are using the help of a feature called as data management. Data management is a feature which is used to perform the operations on your object records. Now, so in this case, by using this data management, we can perform the DML operations on your object records. Now you can raise a question. Sir, already we know how to insert, how to update, how to delete, how to restore, how to view. We know all these things over here. Then what is the specialty of data management? Now, in this case, now tell me, by using that user interface, as of now, we have many user records. Just we can click on, okay, accounts tab, click on new button, form will be getting open, enter the data, click on save, record will be created. Then we can modify the record, we can delete the record, we can view the records. That means how many records we can perform the operation at a time? Only one. We can insert only one record at a time. We can update only one record at a time. We can delete only one record at a time. That means we are able to perform the operations on only one record. Suppose if you want to perform the operations on bulk, I want to insert 100 records. 1,000 records, 1 lakh records, 10 lakh records. What can I do? Will you create the records one by one, one by one, one by one? No, we can't do that. In that case, data management will help you a lot. Whenever if you want to perform the DML operations on bulk records at a time, data management feature will help you. So in this case, by using this data management, not only performing the operations on one record, we can perform the operations on hundreds of records also, thousands of records also, lakhs of records also. At a time, we can perform both input operations, export operations also, both. That facility is available. Then in order to do this data management, what features are available in Salesforce? Salesforce is providing plenty of mechanisms. We have so many ways are available to perform the operations on your data. Upon performing the operations on your Salesforce object records, we have so many ways are available. Then what are those ways that we have? What is the functionality of each and every way? What are the limitations are available? What is the best way that we can use in real time? Everything we'll see one by one. Okay? Now, make a note of this one. Data management. Salesforce provides a collection of standard objects as part of Salesforce CRM, which are used to store the data related to sales, service, and the marketing applications. And the developer can create their own custom objects based on the need to store the application or business specific data. To store the application or business specific data. Now, all the Salesforce objects and records will get resides inside the database.com. Now, data represents the records inside the object. Data represents the records inside the object. By using data management feature, by using data management feature, we can perform all the DML operations on the Salesforce object records. For example, insert, update, delete, export, etc. Now, by using data management, we can perform the operations on either one or multiple records inside the object. Now, Salesforce provides Salesforce provides various approaches to perform or to manage the data as below. Done with this? Now, so whenever if you want to perform the operations on your object records, the first way is page layouts. This approach already we know. As of now, we have many of the records by using this page layouts only. So if you want to create some records, if you want to update the records, delete the records, view the records, we can use the help of page layout. Then what do you mean by page layout? Page layout provides a collection of graphical user interfaces through which we can perform the DML operations on the object records. Like we can insert, we can update, we can delete, we can restore, we can view the records available in the object through page layouts. Like, then how to manage that? Go to your Salesforce arc, click on the required objects tab. Suppose if you want to create an account record, click on accounts tab, click on new button, page layout will get opened, enter the data in the fields, click on save button, record will be created. From there, we can modify, we can delete, we can view, we can do all the things. So through page layouts, we can manage the records inside the object. But the problem is through page layout, how many records we can create at a time? Only one. How many records we can modify at a time? Only one. How many records we can delete at a time? Only one. That means we can insert only one, we can update only one, we can delete only one record at a time. But if we want to insert some 100 records, what can I do? The only way is we have to create the records one by one, one by one, one by one, we have to do. If you want to update some records, we have to update the records one by one, one by one, one by one manually. If you want to delete the records, we have to do one by one, one by one, one by one. That means we can't perform the operations on bulk records at a time. Page layout will allow us to perform the operations on only one record. We can create only one record, we can update only one record, we can delete only one record, not on multiple. So this is a problem as part of page layout. Whenever we are managing the records through page layouts, the problem is we can perform the operations on only one record, not multiple. Suppose if you want to perform the operations on hundreds of records or thousands of records, then page layout will not be useful because we can't do that operations manually, record by record, record by record, record by record. So that we have to go for an alternative mechanism. We need an alternative mechanism in order to perform the operations on multiple records. So that we have one more approach, that is Apex programming. Through Apex programming also we can perform the operations on records as well here. Okay. Now make a note of this one. Page layout. By using page layouts, we can perform all the DML operations on the Salesforce object records. Now, it allows us to perform the operations on only one record at a time. Only one record at a time. This is the first problem. Now, the second approach is by using Apex programming. Done with this? Next. The second approach is Apex programming. So what exactly is Apex programming? Now let's see. This is part of development. So Apex programming is part of Force.com platform, is part of development. By using this Apex programming, we can perform all the DML operations on your object records. Okay, it may be single, it may be multiple. That means through Apex programming, we can perform the DML operations on one record or multiple records also. Multiple means how many? Maximum 10,000 records at a time. Through with the help of Apex programming, we can process 10,000 records because as part of Apex programming, to perform these DML operations, we are using the help of a feature called as a DML statements. Data manipulation language statements. By using these DML statements, we can perform the operations. Total 6 operations we can do through Apex programming. 6 DML operations like insert, update, delete, undelete, upsert, merge. Total 6 DML operations. Insert, update, delete, undelete, upsert, and the merge. Total 6 operations we can do. So whenever we are performing the operations on the records, at a time we can process maximum of 10,000 records, not more than that. Because that is a limitation given by Salesforce for the DML statements. Each DML statement can process maximum of 10,000 records at a time. So through this Apex programming, we can perform the operations on 10,000 records at a time maximum. But in some cases, if you want to perform the operations on lakhs of records, what can you do? For that one, we have one more alternative mechanism over here. Okay, why I'm giving all this mechanism is depends upon the number of records you are going to process. You can choose any one of these options over here. Okay, now let's see Apex programming. By using Apex programming, we can perform all the DML operations on one or more records inside the objects. We can perform 6 DML operations on the records like insert, update, delete, undelete, upsert. Upsert means combination of insert plus update and merge. Now, Apex programming allows us to perform the operations on maximum of 10,000 records at a time. Apex programming allows us to perform the operations on maximum of 10,000 records at a time. For that one, we are using the help of a feature called as data import wizard. The third way is data import wizard. Done with this? Now, next one, data import wizard. Basically, data import wizard is a cloud-based feature. It's not programmatical. It's purely a cloud-based feature. Just by using mouse clicks, we can able to operate it. So, data import wizard is a cloud-based feature which is used to perform only import operations on your Salesforce object records. Only import operations. Import operations means what here? Just insert and update. Only these two. No delete, no undelete, nothing. Because the tool itself, it is having the functionality of import operation. Only import, no export operation. We can't fetch the records from the object. We can't delete the records from the object. We can't do any other operations. Only insertion, updation. So, if you want to perform the import operations on your Salesforce object records, then we have to use the help of data import wizard. Now, by using this data import wizard, we can perform only import operations, no export operation. Just we can perform insert, update only here. Now, so now here in this case, as part of this data import wizard, it allows us to perform the operations on maximum of 50,000 records at a time. We can process maximum of 50,000 records at a time through data import wizard. So we can insert 50,000 records, we can update 50,000 records at a time. That facility is available. So now in this case, you can raise a question, sir, how to pass 50,000 records input value to my data import wizard feature? How can we pass? Now, in that case, we have to pass this records information in the form of a file called as .csv file. We have to use .csv file in order to supply the input values to that data import wizard feature. That means whatever the records you are trying to insert, whatever the records you are trying to update, those records we have to pass to the import wizard in the form of a .csv file. Now, let me explain. For example, I have this object. So this is the account object. In this account object, I would like to insert some records through data import wizard. Here I'm using the help of a feature called as data import wizard. This is the data import wizard feature. Data import wizard. Simply this is also called as import wizard also. But it will support only two operations, only import operation. That means it will support only insert, update. No delete, no export, nothing. Only insert operation and the update operation will support. So in this case, whenever we are passing some records to this data import wizard, now this data import wizard feature is going to be importing the records inside your account object. It will import the record into your account object. Then how to pass the records to a data import wizard feature? For that one, we have to prepare a CSV file. CSV means comma separated value file. Okay, CSV means comma separated value file. Now, that CSV file also exactly same like as our Excel sheet. Whatever the way we are having Excel sheet, in the similar fashion we are having that CSV file. Simply, we have to use Excel sheet upon saving the file. Generally, Excel sheet will be having the extension .xls. It will be having .xls. Now we have to save that file with the extension .csv, comma separated value file. Now, so that here we have to prepare a CSV file. Now, so we have to prepare an Excel sheet. In this Excel sheet, we have to place these records over here. Now save the file. For example, I'm saving the file with the extension sample.csv. This is a CSV file which we have prepared. Now we need to pass this CSV file to my data import wizard in the form of input. Input. We have to pass this input file. So whatever the records you are trying to import inside your object through data import wizard, we have to place those records inside the CSV file. Now pass this CSV file to the data import wizard as input. Now data import wizard will be collecting these records from the object. Those records will be importing into your account object automatically. Okay, so whenever we are using this data import wizard will allows us to process maximum of 50,000 records at a time, not more than that. The two, it is supporting only import operations. Clear? Next. Now, here one more point is, whenever we are trying to be importing the records through data import wizard will be, of course, it is inserting the record, it is updating the records in the object, but it won't support all the objects of Salesforce. Upon insertion, upon updation, it won't support all the objects of Salesforce, it will support all the custom objects. It will support all the custom objects, and along with that, 5 standard objects it will support. It will support 5 standard objects. What are those 5 standard objects? It is supporting account object, it is supporting contact object, it support lead object, it supports solution object, it supports campaign member object, it supports campaign member. These are the 5 objects of standard it will support. Remaining objects it won't support here. Through data import wizard, we can insert the records in all the custom objects, but along with only 5 standard objects like account and the contact, lead, solution, campaign member. Remaining objects it won't support, like as remaining objects means campaign object, opportunity object, case object, order object, contract object, product object, user object, like that remaining objects it won't support over here. It will support only 5 standard objects of Salesforce and all custom objects over here. These points are very, very important in the interview point of view and in the admin certification 201 also. Okay. Now, in this case, whenever we are using this data import wizard will support only import operations, no export. We can't export the data, we can't delete the data from the object through data import wizard. This is the problem. Okay, understood the concept here? Now, make a note of this one. Data import wizard is a cloud-based feature which is used to perform import operations on the Salesforce subject records. By using import wizard, we can just insert and update the records inside the object. But it won't support export operations. Import wizard allows us to process maximum of 50,000 records at a time. Now, we have to supply the input records to the import wizard in the form of .csv file. .csv means comma separated value file. Now, import wizard allows us to, or import wizard supports to import the records, import the records in all custom objects and 5 standard objects. 5 standard objects like account, contact, lead, solution, and the campaign member. But it won't support to import the records in remaining standard objects. Now, the navigation. How can we go to this feature? Let me show you. Click on Setup menu. Search for the option Import Wizard. In Quick Find box, click on Launch Wizard button. This is one way. Or else you can go with another way. Click on the Required Objects tab. For example, Accounts. Click on Import button. Click on Import button. Beside the New button, you will be having Import. Done with this? Now, where exactly it is, now let me show you with the practical. I'm going to my Salesforce org now. Now search for the option data import wizard. Data import wizard. Click on data import wizard feature. Now it is loading the data import wizard feature here. When you come down, here we are having this option launch wizard button. There is a button called as launch wizard button. Now the data import wizard tool will be getting loaded. So here we have to choose the data over here. What data you would like to import, we can specify up to maximum of 50,000 records we can insert into this object over here. Then what standard objects it will support, what custom object it will support. Okay, now let's see. It is supporting the standard objects here. What standard objects it will support? Account object, contact, lead, solution, and then campaign member. Only these five objects, no other standard objects. But when you go to these custom objects, it supports all the custom objects, whatever we have, like as customer, hiring manager, patient, position, all the objects it will support. But standard objects are only five. Remaining standard objects it won't support. Suppose, for example, if you want to insert the records inside your account object here. Now, what you want to do? I want to add some new records. Click on add. Now it will ask you to select that CSV file. Compulsorily, we have to pass the data in the form of CSV file, comma separated value file. How to prepare, we'll see practically also over here as part of data management. Now we have to pass the CSV file as input. Based on the CSV file, we can do that mapping over here. Once the mapping has been done, we can able to importing the records inside our object here. Okay, this is a way. Now, if you want to come to this tool, then we have one more mechanism is available. How can we come to this feature? Now let's see. I'm going to my account object here. Click on accounts tab. If you want to create some new record, click on new button. If you want to insert more number of records, here we have the button called as import button. Okay, import button. Click on import button. It will go to the import wizard over here. It will go to that import wizard automatically by default. Now, let me go back to that here. For example, I'm going to my application. Now I would like to go to my opportunity object. Click on opportunities tab. We can see all the opportunities. Do we have import button here? No. We have simply new button is available, but no import button because import wizard will not support opportunity object. It will support only account, contact, lead, solution, campaign member. Only these five objects. Remaining objects it won't support here. That is a limitation that we have in import wizard. Okay. Now, next one. Now here you can raise a question here. Sir, by using this import wizard, we can able to import the records. Then how can we export the data? For that one, we have a feature called as data export. There is a feature called as data export feature. Basically, data export is a built-in feature given by Salesforce, which is used to perform only export operations. Just we can collect the data from the object, store into a local system in the form of .csv file. Because purely Salesforce is supporting .csv files, comma separated value files. Because these files are very, very popular, comma separated value files, tab separated value files like .csv, .tsv. That means a tab separated value files, tab separated value files, comma separated value files, tab separated value files. These are very, very important. Simply, I can say every month, okay, every month, a person is visiting your home to generate the electricity bill from the electricity department. Now he is having a small device. Okay, he is carrying a small device. Through the device, he is generating the electricity bills. Now tell me how this person will know your service number, your previous meter reading number, previous dues information. How this person know all this information? In that device, do I have any satellite connection? No. Then in that case, what he will do, whatever the area that we have, like for example, in Hyderabad, we are having so many areas are available. Assume that, for example, some Amirpet. In Amirpet, assume that we are having some 10 so small areas are available. So in that case, all the areas electricity bills are not generating by a single person. It will be very difficult. So we will be having some 4 to 5 members will be available here who are generating the electricity bills for these Amirpet areas, okay, customers. So now in that case here, depends upon the area in which you are generating the electricity bills. So now they will go to that electricity department. In the electricity department, they're having the electricity department server. In the server, they're having all the customers' information, all the customers data, their previous dues information, their service number also, meter reading numbers also, and then address also. Everything is available over there. They will go to that, okay, electricity department. Today, whatever the area he is going to visit to generate electricity bills, based on that area, based on the pin code, he will download all those collected, all those service numbers information. Their data will be storing into a CSV file. So now in this particular, based on this, okay, postal code number, based on the postal code number, so whatever the service numbers are available and the customers details are available, they will collect all the data. They will export all the data from the electricity department's database. They will store into a CSV file. This CSV file they will be loading inside the chip. Now this chip will be the database for this device here. Now the device is going to be reading the data from this CSV file over here. So they will come to your home, they will be typing your current service number over here. Based on the service number, it will collect that whole data from the file, it will show on the small screen. Now he will enter the current meter reading number. Based on the previous reading, based on the new reading, it will be collecting how many units has been utilized. Based on the slab rates, it will generate the bill. The data will be printing to you. The same data it will store into that CSV file. Once they are generating electricity bills for all the houses, by end of the day, they will go to the electricity department. They will import this whole data into that electricity department database. So from there, the people can able to get the latest data through online also. So that here, whatever the electricity department people are using the device, they are purely using CSV files, comma separated value files. The device is using this file as a database. Okay, now. So now in this case here, whenever if you want to import the records, we are using data import wizard feature. Suppose if you want to export the data, I want to get the data from the Salesforce objects. In that case, we are using the help of a feature called as data export. Data export is a feature given by Salesforce which is used to export the data from the Salesforce objects to our local device in the form of .csv files. Now, So in this case, you can raise a question. So do we have any limitation that only these objects will be supporting by this data export feature? No. Data export feature will support all the objects of Salesforce. We can export the data from all standard objects, all custom objects also. Not only from one object, from multiple objects also we can export the data. That facility is available. In that case, upon exporting the data, we can able to export the data manually, or we can export the data based on some periodical intervals. That means every month end, I want to export the data to my local system. So in that case, you no need to take the backup every month end manually by your own. Just you can make it scheduled based on the scheduled time. It will run that job. It will collect the whole data from the object, store into a local system automatically. So that whenever we are using data export feature, we can make it manual, we can make it scheduled also here. Both the options are available as part of this data export feature. Okay. Now, then where is this data export feature? We'll see practically. Now, make a note of this one. Data export. By using this feature, we can export the records from the Salesforce objects and we can store them to the local device. Now, this feature allows us to export the data from one or more Salesforce objects at a time. It supports all standard and all custom objects of Salesforce to export. We can export the records from the object either manually or we can make it scheduled based on the periodical intervals. Based on the periodical intervals. Now, where exactly it is available? Now let's see. Click on Setup menu. Search for the option Data Export from Quick Find box. Click on Export Now button. Select the required objects, checkboxes to export the records. Click on Start Export button. Done with this? Then where exactly data export option is available? Now let's see. So go to the setup menu. Go to the setup menu. Search for the option data export. Now here we are having this two options to export the data manually, or we can able to make it as scheduled. Export now, scheduled export. Click on export now button. Now we can able to select that what objects data you would like to export. These are all are the various objects that will be supporting by Salesforce, including standard, including custom, all the objects it will support here. Now, here we are having our custom object also. Customer, patient, position, hiring manager. So what objects data you would like to export, select those objects check boxes, click on start export button over here. There is a button called as start export button so that we can export all the records into our local system over here. So that whenever if you want to import the data, data import wizard to export the data export feature. Now, here you can raise a question, sir, for importing one separate feature, for exporting one separate feature. Don't we have a single feature where we can able to perform both import and export operations? Yes, there is a feature that is called as data loader. Data loader. So what exactly the data loader tool? Basically, data loader is a tool which is an on-premise tool given by Salesforce. It's an on-premise tool. On-premise means what? Which requires installation into your local system first. That already we have discussed in our starting classes. What is on-premise? What is on-demand or cloud? We have discussed. Now, data loader is an on-premise feature or a tool which requires to install into a local system, which supports to perform both import operations, export operations from all Salesforce objects, including standard, including custom. Okay. So whatever the operations we are doing with the help of import wizard and then data export feature, all the operations we can do with the help of data loader tool itself. Then what exactly this data loader tool, what kind of operations we can do, how to install the data loader to the local system, how to log into the data loader, how to perform the DML operations. Okay, we'll see in tomorrow's session. Tomorrow we'll see the concept of data loader tool. Tomorrow and day after tomorrow, both the days we are spending the time on data loader tool so that we can complete data management concept. From Monday onwards, we'll be starting that a new feature, relationships feature. Okay, now. So go through this information today. Tomorrow we'll see the concept of data loader in order to perform import and export operations on our Salesforce object records. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
This conference